Hey folks, do you like beer? Do you like bacon? Do you like bratwurst? Today I'm doing a beer blanched bratwurst. That's and I'm gonna wrap it with bacon. I'm gonna put it on my smoker. That's today's show. Thanks a lot.
Okay, today we're going to do some bacon wrapped bratwursts. And what I usually do is I use the uncooked or the ground ones, and I usually blanch them or boil them in beer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little pan here, and I'm going to put some bratwursts in the pan. And do them like so. And then I'm gonna get a regular beer that I normally don't drink. I mean, this is Shiner Premium or the original Shiner. And I'm gonna pour it in there beforehand, or before I put it on the stove. And I'll do that. And usually I do that to get the. Okay, I've got the bratwurst in the pan with the beer. I usually do this because a lot of bratwursts are sold, and they're sold as either ready to heat and eat. And so they've already been pre-cooked. Like I said, these are raw. These are raw bratwursts. And so you've got to cook them up, because a lot of people make the mistake, and I've seen it happen a lot of times. People make the mistake, they'll just throw them on the grill, make them, get a nice little char on them, maybe a little bit brown, kind of golden brown on one, on both sides. They got to bite into it, and it's raw, and that's how you get sick, because it's raw pork. So what you want to do is blanch it or boil it a little bit, and I usually do it about a couple minutes aside, and then that's when I take it from there and put it out on the grill. But today I'm going to be wrapping them in bacon. So I'm going to blanch them, cool them off, wrap them in bacon, and then throw it on the smoker. Now you could probably do the whole thing, and, just wrap them and then throw them on the smoker. But I still want to have a little bit of cook to them, just to make sure. It cuts down your cooking time, because you're going to be using the smoker, or sometimes you can even do it on just your regular grill. But the smoker is going to bring it up to temp. And so even if you don't get all of it cooked all the way, just in the pan, the smoker will get the job done. And it'll give it a nice flavor, and it'll make it really, really good. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to let this boil for a little bit, and I'll turn it when it gets a little bit gray on the bottom. You can tell. And then I'm going to do that. So I'm going to cut away for a moment. Okay, so as you can see, I've added another bratwurst, and I've already given them a turn. And so they get about, like I said earlier, they get a little bit of a gray color. And that's when you know they're starting to get cooked. So what you do is, like I said, you give them another turn, and be careful, because this is hot beer, and you don't want it to splash on you. You get it to turn, and it's going to be difficult. And when you get to right about the level of doneness, you want to do it maybe 10 minutes max, because then they're cooked. So all you have to do is have it on the grill for a little bit, just to get them brown, a little bit of char on them. But you do this to, like I said, to make sure you get the interior meat cooked, because you don't want to bite into something that's pink, because like I said, with pork, it can get you sick. But this is how I've been doing brats for the last, 5 years, 10 years that I've been doing. When I do get to grill bratwurst, it gives it a depth of flavor. A lot of people sit there and say, well, it tastes like beer. It doesn't taste like beer. It just gives it a really good flavor. And if you want to get really fancy, you save that beer, and you have some cut up onions, some white onions, maybe some red onions, but mostly some white onions, a lot of them. You just chop them up, little strings. Throw it in the beer, put in some butter, some hot sauce, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and you let that stew in that beer, and then you get all that butter, and you get all that melding of flavors in that, and you can use that as a topping to your bratwurst. Really, really good. Okay, I've had the bratwurst in the fridge for a while. I gave them a nice bath to stop the cooking process and to cool them off. You don't want to sit there when you go to wrap it in bacon and then be hot, because one, it's going to burn your hands. Two, it makes, it starts melting the bacon, and bacon, when it starts getting a little, warm, it's kind of difficult to manipulate. So what you want to do is you get a piece of bacon like so. Also pre-season the brats. You just kind of do a slow wrap like this. Just kind of like you're doing like a barber pole, but it's a bacon pole. Sometimes you might even have to do 2 pieces. That'll help seal it up. So you pick it up where you left off, and you wrap it around like so. And so you get a toothpick and you poke it in there and hold it in place. And it's pretty good. You want it mostly to where it doesn't fall off, but if you put it in the smoker, it's going to stay in there for a while. You're not going to be moving around like you would like on a grill. So I'll put it right there in my baking tray. Really great deal. I got this at Costco. I got this, a red one, and I got a black one. There's grilling trays. Use the red one for your raw stuff and the black one for your finished product. That way you're not getting any kind of cross-contamination. Pretty awesome deal. If you don't have one of these, I suggest that you do it. Pretty handy thing. Okay, as you can see, I've got all the brats wrapped up in bacon. I do have toothpicks, so always be mindful when you are grilling that, watch out for one, they're gonna probably maybe char up. If you're on the grill, they're gonna char up a little bit. So watch out for that. So you always wanna soak your toothpicks prior to applying them into a meat or something like that. And then when you go to eat, you wanna make sure you remove them so you don't bite into them and, stick your throat. That's not fun. You don't wanna end the night with a, trip to the ER. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more seasoning on here. This is one of my favorite seasonings. This is the Red River Ranch from Kent Rollins. He makes a really good seasoning. That's what I do a lot of seasoning with. And that will do it. I'm gonna pop these back in the fridge. And then when I got the coals at where I want them to be on my smoker, I'm putting them on the grill. So I'm gonna start putting on the grill. As you can see, I already have some bratwurst here that I've been smoking for a little bit. Something I want to try. I mean, I'll usually stick to the blanching beforehand, but this is something new. I want to give it a try. And usually what I try to do, listen to that sizzle of the bacon on the grill, is when I grill, I always grill a lot, That way we eat on it for a couple days. It's like meal prep. I always want to justify having the grill going. My grill is at 325. I'm going to close her up, because mostly what we're doing is we're reheating the brats and we're cooking the bacon. And I'm going to come back in about another 20-30 minutes and check on that, see how they're doing. Probably flip it, get a little bit more evenness in on the bacon, and check on those other brats. So I'll be back in about 30 minutes. Okay, the sausages are getting some pretty good color to them. And I'm gonna move them around a little bit, some closer to the heat, a little bit further from the heat. These are looking pretty good too. And then, well, I'll hold that with one hand. I am gonna put some barbecue sauce, something different on this one. A little bit of sauce on this one. And a little bit of sauce on that one. And for those of you watching, this is my second video, and I am learning, camera handling, all that on the fly. So I appreciate your patience at this time. All right, it's looking good. Okay, I've already pulled everything off the grill. I've taken the toothpick out of this one, and yeah, got the toothpick out of this one. Got this bun ready, already pre-mustarded.
mustarded and pre-relished. And it's not gonna fit in there very well, but oh well. So, I'm gonna get it. It's hot. Really well done. You know, really cooked. The bacon gives it a nice, nice flavor. You know, you get a little bit of the greasiness from the bacon, but you know, that's the flavor. And then I put a little bit of barbecue sauce on this. It's really good. Highly recommend it. Bacon wrapped bratwurst. Pretty good.